So I went to go see Elysium. It stars Matt Damon, Jodie Foster, Alice Braga, and Sharlto Copley, aka that guy from District 9, which, like this film, was written and directed by Neill Blomkamp. Which brings us to the question that I'm sure a lot of people are asking: is Elysium as good a film as District 9 was? Short answer? No, Elysium isn't as good as District 9. But that doesn't necessarily mean that it's a bad movie or not worth watching, just that it has its problems is all. Somewhat surprisingly, one of those issues was not a heavy-handed political message like I was afraid of going into the film. Oh sure, there's a political message there, and it can be a little bit preachy at times. But that's kind of, for me, the magic of the science fiction fantasy genre. You can have these touchy subjects, but by divorcing it from reality, you can take away a lot of the political baggage, and people can see the message without really getting offended by it in the same way that they would otherwise. Now, sadly, the issues are more along the lines of acting, plot, and writing, so it's not a complete win. The basic idea here is a pretty common one for science fiction. The Earth has gone to pot. There's overpopulation, pollution, it's just not a nice place. So the rich just up and left. They built a utopian satellite called Elysium, and just moved there and left everyone else to rot. Well, and provide support for them, but mostly to rot. Now, the basic thrust of the film is that if people from Earth could just get to Elysium commonly, then everything would be fantastic. Of course, the film doesn't really explain that. I mean, it kinda a little bit, but it's obvious that Elysium couldn't support the population of Earth. If Earth is overcrowded and Elysium is just this tiny satellite, you can't get everyone up there and living in these wonderful conditions, because they'd be just as bad. Now, the main thrust seems to be for these magical wonder super science beds that they have, that people can just get on, and as long as there's brain activity still going on, they can heal anything. So basically, if people from Earth could get to these beds and be healed, everything would be fantastic. Of course, the thing that doesn't work for me in that is the film goes out of its way to show you that these beds are easily portable, don't take much energy, they can fit dozens of them to a medical ship, so I don't see why they're not going to Earth in the first place unless just the people from Elysium are giant jackasses. And that's not really established very well. I mean, it establishes that they don't want people from Earth coming up and bothering them, which, okay, they're kind of asses, but it doesn't explain why they're not wanting to provide any medical care to them. People on Earth just have common present-day medical care. And today's plasma TVs too, for some reason, but mostly it dwells on the fact that they have modern medical care with no advances, whereas Elysium, super science uber beds. Just doesn't work. It's not really. It doesn't really do it for me. So then, on top of the whole plot not doing much to impress me, you have the problems with the acting and the writing, which together combine to make unimpressive characters. For instance, Jodie Foster's character, she is just there. I know Jodie Foster's a good actress, but given the character she has to play and the lines she's given, there's just not much to work with. I really feel that you could have taken Jodie Foster out and replaced her with any generic actress of the same age, and nothing would have changed. Similarly, Matt Damon's character is just generic action hero with a tragic past sort of thing. There's just nothing there. It's an empty role. You could have replaced Matt Damon with like Jason Statham or Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone, and they all would have done just as well for the role. The only real standout in this is Sharlto Copley's character. He plays sort of psychotic, twisted bad guy called Kruger, and he does a great job. Very convincing, very well done, although unfortunately, like all of them, he has some really kind of laughable lines in the film, which is a shame. Now, no one can deny that this movie looks fantastic. There's that wonderful combination of CGI and practical effects and just real locations that kind of makes everything work. You use CGI where needed, kind of splurge on it and make the effects look really good, whereas as much else as you possibly can is done on real locations and sets and with practical effects, and it just adds a real sense of weight and realism to the thing that you wouldn't get just from overuse of CGI like is so common nowadays. Unfortunately, those wonderful visuals are really kind of hurt by Neill Blomkamp's direction. He has this tendency to really use that shaky cam. It worked well in District 9, where the framing device for that was sort of a historical reenactment kind of feel. So you got that sort of documentary feel from the shaky cam. But here you switch back and forth from steady cam shots and these nice, steady, good-looking shots to just random shaky cam scenes of sort of behind behind an actor's head off to the right or off to the left, and the action scenes in a lot of cases they switch between just overly shaky, unfollowable action bits to a slow motion, nice steady shot to back to this unwatchable shaky cam, and it really detracts from the action scenes and any other scene really. It just, I'm not a fan of shaky cam, and it just doesn't work in a lot of films, and it doesn't work here. There's no call for it, and it doesn't add anything to the experience. As a matter of fact, as I said, it detracts from the action. Now, overall, this film is watchable and it's entertaining. It just isn't as good as people were hoping it was going to be. It's not as fun as District 9, and it has some really weird plot issues, and characters are just okay. The writing can be a little bit laughable at times, but it's beautiful, and it's entertaining, and it's fun, but you may want to just go see it on a matinee. Now, if you've seen it and you disagree with me, or if you've seen it and you agree, please let me know about these sorts of things, and until next time, folks, enjoy film.